Have you been abused, neglected, experienced ACEs, survived trauma, or lived with dysfunctional household? Before beginning today's lesson, I want to give you a quick rundown of my trauma history so you have a better understanding of the journey I have been on from trauma to healing and hope. During the first 22 years of my life, I experienced tremendous trauma, but now live a life filled with tranquility and joy. I will fill these lessons with the stories of that journey. When I was 4 years old, an intoxicated parent attempted to drown myself and my 1-year-old sister. When I was 5, I was sexually molested for the first time by a 16-year-old neighbor. When I was 9, I was sexually molested by a 19-year-old neighbor when my mom sent me for a can of soup. When I was 10, I was repeatedly molested by my choir director. When I was 14, I was sexually accosted by a religious education director in the rectory where I worked in the evenings for the priests. When I was 16, I lost my virginity to date rape. When I was 16, later that year, I was attacked by a gang of youth downtown in Cincinnati. An officer in charge of that investigation asked my parents to take me to dinner when I was 17, after the trials were over, to celebrate the convictions. My parents allowed him to do so. However, he did not take me to dinner. He took me back to his apartment where he attempted to rape. When I was 21, I was involved in a bank robbery where a gun was held to my head and my coworker was stabbed 3 times with a hunting knife. Later that same year, 3 months later, the assailants would return to our main office where I had just moved, only this time the assailant who had held the gun to my head would pull the trigger and murder my coworker. My sister was a teller, 19 years old at the time. She had just asked to go on break, and the girl that was murdered was the one who had taken her place on the teller line. I had run from the bank and hiding behind row houses behind the plaza where the bank was, and came to face to face with an armed assailant who pointed his Luger at me. However, the gun misfired, and my life was yet again spared. Also, during the first 10 years of my life, my dad physically abused my sister and myself until he received counseling and then apologized for hitting us and told us he would never hit us again. My mother was a severe alcoholic, still is to this day at 83 years old. And my dad struggled to maintain a job, so therefore we struggled with keeping food in the house at times, and with financial issues and struggles. Lesson 7 is invite angels. One of the things that has helped me along my healing journey is being able to reach out through prayer, conversation, or just gratitude and thank you. Even today, when I was recording a podcast, I just felt such an overwhelming sense of gratitude for this gift I've been given of being able to interview amazing people from all over the world who are helping people along their healing journeys. Today I interviewed someone from working in Thailand, helping children and communities and families who are struggling and making a huge difference in small communities in the northern part of that country. And just set up a thank you. Thanks, angels. Thanks, God. But inviting angels in to my life, even in moments of struggle or moments of peace, whatever it is, there's a self-love that happens in that invitation by welcoming their presence and their guidance and their comfort. And it's been critical to me along my healing journey. And there's a sense of peace and tranquility that comes with it. I hope you find yours as well. When do you most need an angel's presence in your life? Is it when you're scared? When you're feeling lost and needing some guidance? Is it when you're feeling full of gratitude and thankful for your gifts? There's no right or wrong answer, but think about when it is you most need an angel's presence. And be sure to just pause and say thank you. And I want to thank you for being a part of this journey with me, and your comments and your feedback and liking and sharing these videos and audios. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Blueberry, and YouTube, as well as my website, TeriWellbrock.com. All right, and as I say on the podcast, until next time, remember, be gentle with yourself. Thanks.